Chile stretches for more than 4,300 kilometers from the Atacama Desert to the glaciers of Patagonia. Along the way, you'll find the driest desert on Earth, active volcanoes, temperate rainforest, and a remote Pacific island whose civilization remains one of history's great mysteries. It is one of the most geographically extraordinary countries you can travel to. Welcome to Optimized Travel Destinations. My name is Ricky, and I am part of the Optimized Travel team. We help travelers plan amazing trips through our concierge service, and our team has worked together to list the absolute best places Chile has to offer. These are the top 10 places to visit in Chile, counting down from 10 to 1. Number 10, Santiago. Santiago sits in a valley in central Chile with the Andes rising directly to the east, and almost every trip to the country starts here. On a clear day after rain, the wall of snow-capped mountains behind the city is one of the more dramatic urban backdrops anywhere. The city rewards a couple of days rather than a stopover. Explore Mercado Central, spend an evening in Bella Vista or La Esteria, and then finish the day with sunset from Cerro San Cristobal. Santiago is comfortable year-round, though the summer months can be hazy. 2 nights at the start of a trip is about right, and the wine valleys at Maipo and Casablanca are both easy day trips from here. Number 9, Chiloé. Chiloé is a large island off the coast of southern Chile, reached by a short ferry from Paragua, about an hour south of Puerto Montt. It has a culture noticeably distinct from the mainland, shaped by isolation, damp green farmland, and a mythology full of ghost ships and forest spirits. The wooden churches are the island's signature, built entirely of native timber with shingled roofs and no nails. The palafitos, brightly painted houses on stilts over the water at Castro, are the other image people take away. And the food is genuinely different here. Curanto, a mix of shellfish, meat, and potatoes cooked in a pit in the ground, is worth planning a meal around. Chiloé is best from December to March when the weather is least wet. 3 nights lets you get around the island properly rather than seeing only Castro. Number 8, Valle de Elqui. The Elqui Valley is in northern Chile, inland from La Serena, about an hour and a half by air from Santiago, plus a drive. It is a narrow, green river valley cutting through otherwise bare desert mountains, and the combination of high altitude, dry air, and almost no cloud cover makes it one of the best places on Earth to look at the sky. Several observatories here run public night tours. Seeing the Milky Way from the valley floor on a moonless night is the sort of thing that reorganizes your sense of scale. The valley is also the home of Pisco, and the small distilleries here are relaxed and welcoming. The Elqui Valley is best avoided around the full moon if stargazing is the point. Come for 2 nights, one for the observatory and one for the valley and the distilleries. Number 7, Pucón and the Lake District. Pucón is in Chile's Lake District, about 9 hours south of Santiago by road or a short flight to Temuco. It sits on a lake beneath the Villarrica volcano, which is an almost perfect cone, permanently snow-capped and still very much active. You can see it glowing at night when the conditions are right. Climbing Villarrica is the main event, a guided ascent with crampons and ice axe that takes most of a day and puts you at the crater rim looking down into it. Around the town, there are thermal springs scattered through the forest, white water on the rivers, and stands of araucaria, the monkey puzzle trees that grow nowhere else. Pucón is best from December to March for the volcano climb and the lakes. 3 nights cover the volcano, a hot springs afternoon, and a day in the national park. Number 6. Valparaíso. Valparaíso is on the coast about 90 minutes northwest of Santiago. It is a working port built across 40 steep hills with brightly painted houses stacked on top of each other, Victorian vernaculars still running between levels, and more street art per square meter than almost any city in the world. The best approach is to take a funicular up to Serra Alegre, or Serra Concepcion, and then simply walk, following whatever staircase or alley looks interesting. Pablo Neruda's house here, La Sebastiana, is built into the hillside with views over the bay and is worth an hour. Valparaíso works year-round as an overnight trip. The city changes completely in the evening when the hillside lights come on. Number 5. Carretera Austral. The Carretera Austral is a 1,200-kilometer road running south through Chilean Patagonia from Puerto Montt, much of it unpaved and interrupted by ferry crossings. It goes through some of the least populated and most spectacular country in South America: fjords, temperate rainforest, hanging glaciers, and impossibly turquoise rivers. The marble caves on General Carrera Lake are the single most photographed thing on the route. Smooth blue and white rock formations that you enter by small boat when the water is calm. But the road itself is the attraction. Every hour of driving produces something worth stopping for, and the small towns along the way have a frontier quality that is disappearing fast elsewhere. The Carretera Austral needs at least 10 days to do it properly, and a rented 4x4. December to February is the only sensible window. This is the trip for people who want Patagonia without the crowds. Number 4. Chilean Fjords and Glaciers. The Chilean fjords run for over 1,000 kilometers along the southern coast between Puerto Montt and the Magellan Strait, and there is essentially no road access to most of it. The only way through is by ship, and the multi-day ferry and expedition cruise routes are one of the great Southern Hemisphere journeys. The scale is hard to convey. Channels between vertical rock walls, glaciers reaching all the way down to the water, forested slopes with no sign of human presence for days at a time, and weather that changes hourly. Ships stop at glacier faces where the ice calves directly into the sea, and the silence between those collapses is as memorable as the noise. The fjord routes run from roughly October to April. The Navimag ferry is the affordable option and takes 4 days. The expedition ships are considerably more comfortable and get closer to the glaciers. Either way, book early. Number 3. San Pedro de Atacama. San Pedro de Atacama is in the far north of Chile at 2,400 meters, about 2 hours by air from Santiago to Calama, and then an hour by road. It is a small adobe village in the driest non-polar desert on Earth, surrounded by salt flats, volcanoes, geyser fields, and rock formations that look distinctly like somewhere else in the solar system. The Valle de la Luma at sunset is the classic, a landscape of salt-crusted ridges and dunes that turns deep orange and violet. El Tatio, the highest geyser field in the world, means a pre-dawn start at 4,300 meters in temperatures well below freezing, and it is worth every uncomfortable minute when the steam columns catch the first light. The salt flats south of the village hold flamingo colonies with volcanoes on the horizon. and the high-altitude lagoons at over 4,000 meters are an almost impossible shade of blue. And because there is no humidity, no light pollution, and no clouds, the stargazing here is among the best on the planet. The astronomical tours are genuinely worth doing. Atacama is great year-round, but the altitude is real. Arrive from Santiago and take the first day easy before attempting El Tatio. 4 nights is the right amount to see the main sights. Number 2, Easter Island. Easter Island, or Rapa Nui, is a Chilean territory in the middle of the Pacific, 5.5 hours by air from Santiago, and the most remote inhabited island on Earth. The nearest populated land is over 2,000 kilometers away. The moai are what everyone comes for, and they exceed expectations. Nearly 900 carved stone figures, some over 10 meters tall, positioned around the island facing inland. Au Tangariki, a row of 15 standing together with the ocean behind them, is the image that defines the place, and watching the sunrise behind them is the best experience on the island. The quarry at Ranu Raraku is the part that stays with people longest. It is where almost every moai was carved, and hundreds remain there in every stage of completion. Some half emerged from the rock, some finished, and abandoned mid-transport, as though the whole operation stopped one afternoon and never resumed. Easter Island works year-round, with the warmest months from December to March. Stay 4 nights minimum. Flights are limited and expensive, so it is worth giving the island proper time. Before I reveal number 1, I want to take a moment to tell you about why we made this video. Chile is a logistical puzzle. The country is over 4,000 kilometers long, the desert in the north and the ice in the south have opposite best seasons, and the Patagonian parks require booking months ahead in high season. Getting the routing and the timing right is most of the battle, and that is exactly what Optimized Travel was built for. Head to optimizedtravel.com to find out more, or click the link in the description. And now, number 1, Torres del Paine. Torres del Paine is in the Chilean Patagonian in the far south, about 5 hours by road from Punta Arenas, or 2 hours from Puerto Natales. It is the finest national park in South America and one of the great trekking destinations of the world, and it manages to live up to a reputation that has been building for decades. The massif itself is what makes it. 3 vertical granite towers rise straight out of the landscape, with the Cuernos beside them, all of it surrounded by turquoise glacial lakes, hanging glaciers, and open steppe. The mountains are not especially high, but they rise so abruptly from flat ground that the effect is far more dramatic than altitude alone would produce. The W Trek is the classic route, 4 to 5 days across the southern face of the massif, staying and refugios or camping. The full O circuit takes 8 or 9 days and goes around the back of the range through country that far fewer people see. But the park also works perfectly well for day walks from a lodge, and the hike up to the base of the towers can be done in a single long day. The wildlife is better than most people expect. Guanacos are everywhere on the steppe. Condors ride the thermals above the ridges. And there is a genuine chance of seeing puma, which have become increasingly visible in the park over recent years. Torres del Paine is best from November to March. The wind is relentless and the weather changes in minutes regardless of season, so bring proper layers whatever the forecast says. Give the park at least 4 days. The towers hide in cloud often enough that a single attempt is a gamble. Those are the 10 best places to visit in Chile. From the colored hills of Valparaíso and the stars over Elqui, through the salt flats of the Atacama and the moai of Easter Island, all the way to Torres del Paine and the finest mountains on the continent. If you're ready to plan your trip, head to optimizetravel.com and let me know in the comments, which of these 10 would you visit first? Straight to Patagonia? Or would you start in the desert? Drop it below and don't forget to subscribe. We cover the world's best destinations every week.